Greg Newport, Hickory, North Carolina.
John Ventura, Little River, South Carolina.
Randy Reeves, Auburn, Alabama. War Eagle!
All the boys, they look sharp with those windbreakers on.
I'm a big fan of those. Really big fan of those.
He's that one up nicely through, but
wow,
he's going to get it to go and starts it off right.
There we go. And you know, these putters know exactly where to put it, right?
Yeah.
And these guys all know that it's going to funnel in right to left. Wow. A lot of excitement from the consistency king, Greg Newport.
You know, that's me. I drop an ace on hole number 1. I'm calling the clubhouse and asking what the course record is because I'm going low. But not these guys. This is business as usual. We're going to see Ventura step up to the plate here and look to follow in the steps of Greg Newport with his opening ace. And that total on the day that we saw ahead of time, 15.5, feels like the underbetter's day is in danger right now.
Really does. Really does. Maybe a little too much.
And another one.
Oh, there we go. Great. I love the gear from Ventura. I got to tell you, those Sweden socks that he's wearing with the cargo shorts, the T-shirt, the vest, guy's rocking it right now.
Oh, the Sweden socks are crazy. Come on. What the high socks like
Big
that?
Zlatan Ibrahimovic fan, I've heard from John Ventura. And Randy's got to feel the pressure now. Again, he's ace. This is exactly like Rutledge in the first round today. I'd be shaking a little bit more on this putt right now. Boom.
Not Randy. 3 straight.
Boom.
3 straight go down for aces on hole number 1 here. Again, it blows my mind watching this happen, knowing what we saw last week, where through 2 groups we didn't see one, and now through 2 here today we've watched, I believe this was 5 go in out of 6 golfers just even through the first round. So there you go. What an opening hole for all 3 golfers in this one as we look at that live updated odds board.
Just to put this into context, you have a 30.4% chance of hitting an ace on number 1. The probability of all 3 putters hitting an ace would be 2.8%. So we see that roughly 3 times out of 100 right there, 1 in 33. Very good start from these guys who know they have to go low.
Well, Rob, if I had parlayed that all together, all 3 of those guys acing hole number 1, I wouldn't have been at work tomorrow.
One can dream, Zach. One can dream.
As we head to hole number 2 here again, we discussed it numerous times. Not really a hole that you're going to be acing. And looking at John Ventura, not a hole he has ever aced. Just another opportunity to play it safe, get up close to the hole, and walk away with a par here.
67% par percentage from John Ventura here as well. You'd like to see that number a little bit higher, but this is a tough hole. Scoring average is 2.76, the highest handicap hole on the course.
Yeah.
You just really, again, want to get close to possible on this hole, and you can't leave it short or else it'll come right back to you. That looks like a pretty solid putt. Little work left to do there, but mission accomplished of getting it up, getting it close to the hole. And now you just got to trust that you've practiced this enough. You know your second putt.
The socks are just too high to me, Rob. I don't know, too high. Too high on the socks.
I'm not a high socks guy myself, to be quite honest with you, but the look is working for me today.
Well, working for you and hopefully continuing to work for John Ace Ventura. As he knocks down the par putt, gets out of there still -1 on the day through 2 holes.
Good start. Good start. Looks good. Put that in rather easily there.
Well, Randy Reeves up next and going to look to follow suit. You know, Rob, I'm going to be completely honest with you. The first time that they put up the numbers there for Ventura on this hole, the reason I didn't say them out loud is because I very quickly in my head went, where's the other 33%? And realized that bogeys are a thing that can happen.
Wow!
Not for Randy Reeves as he goes the complete other way and aces this one.
I cannot underestimate how difficult it is to get an ace on number. It doesn't happen. Aces on 2 are so infrequent. We will go entire tournaments will go the full U.S. Open, the full Masters, without an ace. That is almost a historical shot there. We don't call them horseshoes for nothing. The Horseshoe Hall of Famer, Randy Reeves, does the near impossible with an ace on number 2.
A where were you when type of moment, if you will. Randy Reeves knocks in the ace, opens things up on a very, very difficult hole, 2 ace. We have Greg Newport here to close out this group on hole number 2. Leaves himself a little bit of room, a little bit of meat on the bone to walk away with a par here and stay in the pack. But you could imagine that's got to be feeling good for Randy Reeves and his confidence level moving forward.
We got our analytics team really working right now to see if we've ever seen aces back-to-back on number 1 and number 2 at this course. But my quick scan tells me no, we haven't. We'll see if this is a first all-timer. We have not. It has been confirmed. First ever back-to-back aces on this course come from the Horseshoe Hall of Famer, Randy Reeves. Really, really impressive there to start.
A World Putting League historical moment there that we just witnessed. Heritage moment, yes. Randy Reeves now catapulting himself up into second on the live leaderboard, plus 250 to win outright here today. John Powell still sitting at the top, plus 230, but Randy Reeves only 2 strokes back through 2 holes. He's got to be feeling pretty calm, pretty comfortable, and pretty confident moving forward here today.
Honestly, there's probably some stuff creeping into John Powell's head right now of like, is my 4 under going to, like, what have I done to deserve this? Basically, shot a great round with 4 under. And these guys are really looking good for the first 2 holes. We approach number 3. Aceable here. Players are going to be looking to play that bank shot off of the yellow brick. Can Reeves go 3 for 3 to begin his day here?
Come on. Come on.
Great putt. Great putt. Gave it a chance.
Robin, tournament play, as you mentioned, history. 0 for 253 on aces in hole 1 and hole 2 back-to-back before today.
Unbelievable. You just don't see it on that hole. Just don't see it on that hole.
Not here, not at the Hawaiian Village Pineapple course. That is just definitely not something we've seen. And pretty cool moment, Rob. You know, I never imagined myself being play-by-play broadcaster, let alone for professional putting. And here I am today witnessing history and Greg Newport
just a little short. A little short. It's one of those moments, Zach, I'm not going to have kids and I won't have grandkids. But if I did, I'd be telling my grandkids where I was, when Randy Reeves hit an ace on number 2.
This is one of those. You know, kids, sit down and let Grandpa tell you a story about the moment we were a part of at Sweaty Studio in Toronto.
And we're getting more details about this. That was actually the first recorded ace on hole 2 ever in tournament play. Wow. So not only has he gone back-to-back 1-2, which obviously had never been done because no one ever aced number 2, but that was the first ever ace on 2 in tournament play. And fitting, it comes from the man nicknamed Horseshoes. Of course it would.
Of course, why wouldn't it? As we look at those socks stand out.
He knows he didn't get the line there. He knows he didn't get the line. He walked immediately after that putt. But you know what? Ventura's a flashy guy. He's a flashy guy. He likes the attention. He once told me that he gave himself the nickname Ace Ventura before Jim Carrey's Ace Ventura came out, which I told him I'm not buying it. Sorry, John. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. But you know what? It's within the range of possibility. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's a non-zero that could have happened. That's for sure. But you know what? In defense of our fellow Canadian, Jim Carrey, I'm going to say that was...
I think John might be looking for some royalties or something. He's a smart guy.
Well, can't put it past him. As we take a look at the live leaderboard there, John Ventura still well within the reach of Randy Reeves at the top of group number 2, and these guys are all still within reach of John Powell at the top at -4. Obviously put up an incredible score for him today, sitting in the clubhouse there, but Randy Reeves, Greg Newport, John Ventura, all starting off really strong through 3 holes. We head to number 4, and Rob, looking at that leaderboard, is the value kind of gone on these guys at this point for an outright winner on a live market?
It's really tough because of the condensed field right now at this point. This is a hole that could change things. It is aceable. It's a front door putt. You got to get the speed perfect, and that speed is like next to nothing. It's a very, very delicate putt. But finest of margins here as players will tee off right from the right-hand side and look to just narrowly miss that hill on the left. Newport up first. That's a little bit too much pace. That's the line. He's going to tap in for a 2 there. Very oftentimes when the putter comes right out of the stance right away to follow the ball, it's not a good sign. It's usually a sign that they know that they have missed the line.
And, people think, hey, I could just pick this up. I could go out there and I could shoot as well as these guys. That's not the case, Rob.
No.
You got to go and do it. Truly, the amount of information and studying that goes into this, the knowledge these guys have of the courses, the weight, like watching Randy Reeves putt, it looks like I'm looking at the metronome above my mom's piano, the pace that he's got and how smooth he is. But it's reading things like this where you're taking away the ups, the hills, the slants, right to left, avoiding rocks, which rocks to hit. That goes into it. So this isn't something that just everyone can pick up and do.
That stroke there from John Ventura was very interesting. Couldn't tell if he putted with a little bit of spin or he was just asking for the ball to turn over a little bit. Narrow missed, but I'll be interested to see if he breaks out that stroke again.
Well, as I see in the chat here, I wish I could take this for myself. I can't, but East Ventura, all Swedish, no finish as of right now. Yeah, you didn't like that one.
Not bad. Oh, just misses it to the right. Again, very delicate putt. None of our competitors hit it here. Under bettors on total holes in one, they remain alive. But I'm still very fascinated by that Ventura putting stroke with the hands turned over. It's almost like playing a draw a little bit.
Yeah.
Tried to draw it in there.
Yeah, we see many different styles of putting here on the tour, but that one is certainly something interesting.
Listen, you find what works for you, and it could be unorthodox, unconventional, but as long as you can hit it on the same line pretty consistently, you go with what works.
Well, as we head to hole number 5, taking a look at how these guys prepared for the event and thoughts going into this one. Greg Newport there saying, I'm my own worst enemy out there. If I play well, it will be lights out. And we've seen him kind of ride up and down with the emotions of the tournament and how things have gone for him in events past. And I think that wearing his heart on his sleeve is certainly something that he's going to be taking into consideration. John Ventura, the days of being looked at as just the old guy are over. I'm coming for you all. Yeah, I think that you're getting chirped about how did you pick Ventura. You see that putting stroke.
I love the killer instinct from Ventura.
That's something you want to hear as someone who's got money down backing him. The days of being looked at are just the old guy are over. I'm coming for you. That's what we're looking for.
For a more familiar reference, he's viewed as the Shooter McGavin of the tour. High quality player, but he can really get under the other player's skin, and he's very confident in his skills as well.
Well, heading back to live action here. Ace.
Oh, got that Dagwoods across the street again. Fine establishment, that Dagwoods.
$2 pork chops, Jacob.
And there we go. And the kick. You got the kick out.
Getting the leg kick out on the drain putt is I need some friends over at the WPL to grab a clip of that for us.
Better yet, we're going to get a high-res picture. I think I'm going to put it in the border behind me.
Yes.
Of the John Ventura kick out.
Yes.
Big fan of that Sally with the Swedish socks on right now.
I like that. See, I'm kind of freshly moved into my apartment. That might be something I need framed and put up on the wall. That leg kick with those Swedish socks, it's art.
Haunting, actually.
It's
haunting is what I would call it.
I kind of need the picture of Dagwoods in the back, though, when I get that image. Let's take a look at Randy Reeves here. Back-to-back aces, and since then, hard both of his last two
Ooh.
holes, and that just feels like a missed putt.
Yeah, missed the line there. Could tell pretty quickly that wasn't on line. Not a strong effort, but ultimately he'll take his deuce and move on. This is a hole that's aced just about 17% of the time. So not the end of the world there for Randy, but never really gave him a chance at the game.
Rob, we got to see some celebrities take part in some of these events in the past, and you think with the retirement of Jason Kelsey that this might be something that he looks forward to in his future. Not only, podcasting only does so much for you. You still need a little bit of that competitive juices. Is this maybe where he should be looking to take his talents now?
I'm not sure if they have kegs of beer on course, but that's probably the only way you're getting Jason Kelsey out there. I think Newport thought that one was going to go down there.
Yeah.
I really do.
It looked good. It looked like he had the right line, the right pace, but just misses outside.
A little bit of shades of Joey Grable's round today so far, where he aced the first, and he's been all around it so far, but can't get one to drop right now.
Those are the worst nightmare kind of ones where it's like, hey, you know what? You didn't play poorly, but it's still going to eat you up. Probably worse than it would if you actually just had a bad showing.
Well, one of the issues is, and these players will know this, is we need one more ace on this course to cash the over. But of the first 5 holes on this course, 4 of those 5 are above average in terms of their scoring. They're easier holes. And players know that they want to get off to as best a start as possible there because that back 9 is treacherous. You have some holes like this, number 6, which can be treacherous if you put it past the hole and have a bad stance for your second shot. You have a hole like number 9, which is into the cave and it's tough. So it gets more challenging as we move on here. Players know that. And Greg Newport's going to have to find a way to get back in this, hit some aces here, or at least not put up some big scores. Because right now, our 2 favorites, and Joey Grable and Greg Newport, are finding themselves outside of the cut line.
Yeah, and we see that cut line does move there now. Greg Newport drops below it, where you're going to have an opportunity. The top 3 golfers of today move on to a sudden death playoff, but if there are golfers tied, there will be another matchup to determine who those final golfers are. But obviously, things have now shifted a little bit. 2 golfers at -2. We've got John Powell in the clubhouse at -4, as you had mentioned, maybe sweating a little bit when he thought he might not have had to. And Randy Reeves with a pretty good approach putt, leaves that one just past the hole, but not into that danger zone we had kind of talked about up against the wall.
In my opinion, the risk reward on this hole is not worth it. I would always be playing this hole short of the cup if possible, because you look at the stats from tournament play, from the U.S. Open, from the Masters, this hole is aced less than 4% of the time.
Yeah.
It's about 1 in 25 that you're getting an ace on this hole. And if you get stuck up against that back wall, you just have a nightmare of a stance, as Michael Rutledge learned earlier on today. So I'd be playing this very conservatively, try to nestle it up short of the hole if possible. Maybe you get those last couple rotations that bring it into the hole. But you really don't want to put this out far past the hole.
Well, Greg Newport not going to put that one past the hole for sure, as he leaves it a little bit short. Make that approach there, Rob, and kind of.
I think that's fine. I honestly do. You much rather be where Newport is right now than past the hole, and that's kind of exactly what I was talking about. Now, the difference is Greg Newport does have to make up strokes. He's not in the position where he's already past the cut line, so that's a little bit different. But ultimately, to me, this is a hole where I think it's unnecessary to get super aggressive.
Well, John Ventura here has only ever parred this hole. No aces, no bogeys. Looking to have a tidy hole number 6 here, and looking at the field, par 77% of the time. Just 4% has the field been able to ace this. But John Ventura, if you want to open things up a little bit, now will be the time.
You rolled it over again, the little draw stroke there. And, that's a fine putt, honestly. I think that's really good. You have very close to what's a tap into. You don't bring risk into play at the back wall. Of course, you'd like to make ace on every hole, but there's somewhere it's just a little bit more challenging. And number 6, if we look at the top 7 holes on this course, the first 7, 2 and 6 are ones that you can end up putting up a big score.
And I mean, you're talking about you want to ace every hole, Rob, by the way. You do have a golfer in this group, Greg Newport, one of the few people in the world to shoot a perfect 18 in a round of mini golf.
It's honestly absurd to even think about. Even if you were playing one of the easiest courses around, thinking about nailing every single one of your putts, the pressure that you'd feel down the stretch, it's insane that he's done that. And this is one that he's going to want to ace because this is the most aceable hole on the course at just under 31%. You don't want to be too aggressive because if you go past the hole, out of bounds is in play if you're coming in really hot. But this is a double breaker putt, goes left and then right, kind of that snake style putt, the S putt, as some people will call it. And that's a little bit too hard.
Yeah, it's too hard for the direct approach and not enough to get a little bit of playback off that back hill.
And you know what? I don't like the body language from Newport right now. He's really down on himself, and you could see as soon as he hit that one, he wasn't feeling it right away.
Well, and he had told us ahead of the event, the biggest enemy that he has is himself when he's out on the course. As much as this is about the field and playing other people, this is very, very much about going to war with yourself every time you're going to make a putt, approach the greens, how you're going to go about it, whether you're playing off the rocks, where you're hitting it, what the speed, the pace is. It's all within your own head, between your two ears, and it feels like he's fighting a battle right now.
I mean, 1 under at this point is not a bad score at all. It's just he knows that he's behind, and that can create a little bit of angst for some of these putters. As this is fast, but not fast enough to get all the way up to that hill. We'll tap in deuce here for ace. He was going to one-hand it there, and then he thought better. And he's in there for a 2. Let's see if Randy can knock this one in. As ace, too, just coming up. You could tell the putters badly want to ace this one. They know this is an opportunity lost if they don't ace it here.
Well, this is one that overbetters on the over 15.5 on the total today are going to want here as well. Only needing one more to cash that.
Ooh, that's hard. Ooh. See, that you can bring danger into play if you go a little bit hard. If that didn't catch some of the hole, you do have out of bounds as a possibility.
Well, Randy Reeves will clean that one up, walk away with the par. 2 strokes here to get it done for Randy as we're about to head to our feature hole number 8, where we did see that total set out 1.5 ahead of the event. We did get one in the first group. We're going to need another one here for those overbettors to cash. That was the way we were looking when we did the preview show, when we were breaking down what might happen, where the odds were currently sitting at. And, I mean, Randy Reeves looking for the backdoor roll. That's all he had to say about this event here today. I think that maybe this is the way he approaches hole number 8 today.
Certainly. And again, we see the 3 lines up on screen there. You have your front door putt in white. You have the one that Michael Rutledge played, which is off of the hill in the back. Try to get it back into the back door, which seems like Randy Reeves will play. And then you have the banker off the left rock. So this is a really interesting hole altogether. We saw 1 ace with our first group. Total set at 1.5 here. So over bettors looking for at least one more ace. Under bettors hoping that no one can knock it in on this hole right now.
And we see those odds live up on screen right now. Minus 150 was the over set at ahead of the event here today. Sitting at the 1. Rob, good observation here by producer Jacob. Last week it was windy. They dealt with some of the elements. We've now seen a shift in how these guys are dressed for this event. Taking off the vests here, Randy, Ace, both have removed them just down to the golf shirts now. Do you think this plays a factor?
It's possible if they feel that was hindering their putting stroke in any way or they're getting too hot through them. Certainly, I could see why they would do that. Front door putt from Ace, the fist pump. Here we go. Ace is on a roll.
if he was overheating, he could have probably just rolled down those socks a little bit.
Cash that over is exactly what Ace said. I think that ball out of the hole right there. Cash the over.
Over betters, you are welcome.
The double dipper on the over. Hole in one tracker, 15.5. Total course amount, and the hole in ones on that hole. Great putt there. Great putt there by Ventura.
Well, that'll get it done for the hole in one markets. Still, obviously, our future hole number 12 that we'll get to a little bit later. Still need one there, but Randy Reeves looking to come up and make it 2 straight on this hole number 8 for this group to continue to have some success here and keep up the good day that he's had so far.
He said he was looking for the back door, but he almost took the straight line there.
Yeah. Just doesn't get that one to go. Misses outside on the right side of the cup.
I think one of the advantages of playing that line, which is to the right of the hole, rolling it off the back and in, is if you do miss it a little bit short, you might get the break into the front door as well,
right,
which seemed like it almost happened there for Randy.
Well, only one hole in one on this hole between these two golfers, and Greg Newport looking to close it out with an ace himself and kind of get above that cut line yet again and put himself back into the competition. Obviously, still one more hole after this one to close out the front 9 before we move to the back, but this is one of those ones, an aceable opportunity. You want to take advantage of it. And he, using the back, gets it to go.
Greggy got it. Different shots. I love this hole. To me, this is what mini putt is all about. You have different lines to the hole. There he's showing up his WPL ball right there, Chromax ball, which actually is a little bit different than a regular golf ball, but these guys are fired up. This is a good round of golf from these 3 competitors right now, as they're tight in the mix. John Ventura moves up to 3 under, Newport and Reeves 2 under, all of them in the mix right now past the cut line. This is shaping up for an excellent hole number 9 and back 9, Zach.
Yeah, it feels very different from what we've watched out of this second group here compared to the first one, and even compared to event number 1. I think there was a lot of dealing with the elements last week, having to kind of handle that, the wind, everything that was going on. You saw some of the higher scores, especially compared to this week. Even Grable, you look at that even, he would have been right in the mix last week. He would have been right there, part of it. But now looking at these 4 above the cut line, all 3 from this group number 2, they're having themselves a pretty good day. Live odds board continues to move there as we're about to head to the cave hole. But before we see some live action from these putters, let's head down to the course and catch up with our T-side correspondent. Bye.
I have been in Myrtle Beach for less than 24 hours, and I've heard Ted Detweiler's name more than I'd like to know. I'm here with Ted Detweiler. I'm going to let you know. He's going to let you know why that is the case.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the first Monday of March. The weather is incredible. The play is off the charts. It's heating up out there. It's heating up here. There's a lot of excitement, and we're happy to have PLN, Pro League Network, and the World Putting League, and sanctioned by the USPMGA. And I hope everyone is wagering responsibly.
Responsibly, hey? Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It is a beautiful day out here. The golfers have been moving through the course pretty fast. Ted, tell me, who do you think's looking good? Who do you think's looking scared? Talk to me.
Well, John Powell in that first group, he's always in the top 20. He's a solid player, so it doesn't surprise me that he came out on top. In this second group, Ventura's hitting some aces, and I think it might be neck and neck there towards the end. So it's exciting.
Ted, tell me, how often do the Versace glasses come out? Is that a WPL special thing, or is that an everyday thing?
I actually stole them from my dad, so he's over there, so he's probably going to try to get me. But Versace's come out at nighttime, but I brought them out daytime today, which I don't know how much time we got, but should I pop the collar?
I think it's time to pop the collar.
All right, I got to pop the collar. Hey, Rob, I see you got the Hawaiian shirt. I'm popping the collar, man. It's game time. Let's do this.
The collar has been popped. The wearer is good. Stay tuned.
The shades, the jacket, the WPL shirt, top-notch stuff.
Teddy Detweiler, a fantastic ambassador for the course. I wasn't sure at first about that polo with the blazer
it's
look.
It's growing on you.
But it's really grown. I honestly, I think I'm going to adopt that look now. I can't rock the shades like Ted can.
Right.
That's the only problem. I'm wearing the glasses, but Fantastic look from Ken down at course side right there.
In unison and bringing together the WPLS over here at the Hammer, the Pro League Network, Rob, I think for the finals, we might have to go Blazer Polo,
or at least pop collar.
At least pop collar.
We'll go pop collar for the final.
Yeah.
Finals, 100%.
Shades too, maybe. Maybe we go
pop collar and
shades.
shades. I'm not going to lie. I've done it in the studio right now. I feel like a complete idiot with the pop collar, but I'll stick with it.
I kind of like it.
Number 9 here. And Randy left himself some work on the deuce mud. And again, this is really challenging because you can play it lefty, you can play it righty, but there's a real advantage in being able to have your tee shot starting as far left as possible. And looking at Greg teeing this up here, he's going to play it righty with what looks like it's going to be a really awkward stance for him against that cave wall. I mean, look how tight this is for him. This is absurd.
This is insane. I'm not going to lie. That is outrageous.
You want to get as far? I mean, that's a great effort. He left himself some work. But that's challenging.
That was outrageous. That's one that I think Greg's going to look back at and say, why did I do that?
Well, I wonder in golf a lot of times what you feel and what actually happens in reality are very different things. And I really wonder what his comfort level is with that stroke. Is he comfortable in the moment? Does he feel extreme discomfort? Can he hit it on a line? I think there's a lot of ways that people can go about it. And you see John Ventura here, who's decided he's going to flip this over to the left-hand side.
What do you think felt more discomfort? Greg Newport leaning up against the rocks, or us with our collars popped the way they are right now?
I'm going to go with Greg on that one.
Yeah.
Rocks in the back. Oh, that had some heat on it from Ace. They don't call him the hole-in-one hunter for nothing, Zach. He is hunting on every hole, as you just saw right here.
I think when you say they, you mean you call him the hole-in-one hunter.
Very positive.
Yes.
I'm sure someone else out there has at least said that once.
If they weren't before, they are now. Knocks that one, walk away with the par here. You know what, Rob? I feel like an idiot. The socks, they're growing on me. I like them more and more the more I see them.
I'm all for flashy colors. See Rainey Statham sometimes on tour wearing the pink pants. Joey Grable. Some people see him out there when they're driving by on the road that borders his course. They point, they're like, that's Ian Poulter out there is the pants that he's wearing. But right now, today, stealing the show is Ace Ventura with the yellow socks.
Well, the yellow socks are our popped collars. I'm not sure which is looking better, but you guys can decide whether you're watching on the worldputtleague.com or over on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel. You guys can let us know. Follow us along on Twitter as well, the Hammer HQ. You can also follow the World Putt League on there as well. And send in your photos of our popped collars, your popped collars, Ted's popped collar, whatever it is. Let us know how you're watching and viewing today's event. We do appreciate everyone who's watching along with us. But as we continue on the Survivor Series, Greg Newport still very much in the hunt here. And you're going to be looking to have a strong back nine to close this one out and advance on to the sudden death.
And this is one of the two holes on the back nine that are considered ace holes. Ones where players will be disappointed to not ace. Oh, and Greg just cannot buy a break. Cannot catch one. Talking to himself. That's how I look on the course, Zach, sometimes. I mean, I'm typically missing putts that are a lot easier than that one. But
yeah, you're missing from 2 feet away.
What do I got to do to get that one to drop? And it seems like he just is missing by millimeters on some of these putts.
Rob, can you explain to people who might be tuning in for the first time what's going on when these guys are lining up their putts here off the tee, for lack of better words, to the starting point of each hole? What goes into that? What are they doing? How are they setting it up? Why are they setting it up the way that they are?
So it doesn't really look like a scientific approach, but it really is. Putters will use their feet and the size of their putter head to measure out exactly where they want to place the ball, and then every putter will have an aim point. Sometimes it's stuff that's off the course that they can just use to try to hit on that line, and of course you got to get it with the right speed. And John Ventura did not like that stroke one bit. Completely walked off immediately.
And he's got a difficult putt for himself here on the way back, and he's really not happy with it right now. You see him completely walk away, take a new look at this. Take a look at that scorecard there up on the left side of your screen, breaking down how this hole plays out, how it funnels in, the ridges that you're going to be looking at.
You'll notice here, too, you very rarely see the putter walk to the other side of the hole, go down to their knees to read it. I wonder if this is a putt that John just has not had much before.
Right.
And this is very tough. When you go from reading traditional greens to trying to read the carpet, it's extremely challenging and very deceptive at times.
Ooh. He was not happy with where the ball was after his initial shot. Took some serious time to reconsider, reevaluate the approach that he was going to take on his second shot. And
he's Rob, in a bad state of mind
this
right
is
now.
not looking good for Ace Ventura. I mean, you hope that he can pull things together. This is only the first hole of the back nine. He was in good positioning going into it, but he seems rattled right now.
He does. I think part of it is that this is not traditionally considered a difficult hole. You have roughly an 18% chance of an ace. You have an average score of 1.96 across the U.S. Open and the Masters. So I think part of that is just extra frustration because it's not a hole that you typically fare poorly on. But we'll see if he can get out of that mindset. He's still in a pretty good spot here, is Ace Ventura. So time for him to regroup and move on as Randy Reeves looks to pour in an ace here and start the back nine as he did.
Look at that scorecard, too. Ace, ace, and then just a pillar of consistency the rest of the way. Oh, wow. See, this is where you're talking about the risk reward. Just misses that ace opportunity. And now, similar to what we saw with John Ace Ventura, where he took a moment, step back, reevaluate. Yet again, look at this one from the other side of the hole. Randy Reeves taking a similar approach for this long putt back for two.
And in my brief time of watching hole number 10 here, I have not seen the putts that John Ventura and Randy Reeves have faced on this hole.
Right.
Typically speaking, they've really settled around the hole. There's been some aces. And he drains it.
Knocks it down.
Continues his run of pars now. Pretty consistent for Randy Reeves there. And again, once we get into this back nine, which is underway here now, holes are a lot tougher. All three of our putters in this group at 2 under par through 10.
Well, heading over to hole number 11, we're looking at the live updated leaderboard there. We see John Powell still holding on to first out of the golfers here today in today's field at 4 under. Greg Newport, John Ventura, Randy Reeves all sitting 2 under right now. Newport and Ventura both sitting plus 300. And finally in this group, Randy Reeves, see a little bit of movement there as well, plus 333 through 10. All of those guys very close together. As we're going to head into this last back nine or the last stretch here where we're going to have a couple opportunities where this could go the other way. You see some of the aceable holes in the front, not as much so here on the back. This is where you just want to avoid trouble, isn't it?
This is the hole. Rick Alessi went out of bounds. Michael Rutledge went out of bounds. That one started a little bit too far to the right, but John is going to get away with it. Ends up being kind of exactly where you would like to be with a fairly simple 2 here. but really we've seen this whole ace less than 1% of the time. It's extremely challenging to ace it. 2 is a good score here. You take your 2, move on. That's what Randy Reeves has done for the entirety of his career in professional tournaments. 100% par percentage on this hole. Lots of 2s, and that's just the point here. Keep it in play, live to fight another day.
Oh, Randy Reeves stepping up to the plate. He'll look to keep this thing in bounds and set himself up for a good opportunity at a par putt to close out.
That's
Very
pretty
good approach.
Yep. 2 great strokes there from Ventura and Reeves back to back. No horseshoes there for Randy. That was a really good stroke all around.
Well, Randy Horseshoe Reeves is a member of the Putt Putt Hall of Fame, and he is one of the most experienced competitors in the field. He does hold the course record when he won the Masters in 2015, but not too much success since. Looking to change things up here today and get himself into that sudden death to put himself in a position to head on out to the finals on April 2nd, which you can find here on the World Putt League, the worldputtingleague.com, as well as on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel, April 2nd out there in Myrtle Beach as well.
And Newport up there as well.
And a different approach for Newport than we just saw out of the last 2.
Likely missed the front hill a little bit to the left. Typically the ones that we see drain out to the top here don't get as much of a roll off the front hill as you get the close-up of the Chromax ball there. And Newport sneaks it in the left side. 3 2s on this hole. All players will be happy with that. As we move on to another one of our featured holes, Zach, hole number 12, multi-shot hole, various starting positions. Over bettors are looking for one more ace here. Under bettors are hoping for no action, as they would say. But this is the hole where some will use the rock, others will go for the straight putt. This used to play very good off the rock, but has changed in recent years. If you look at the competitors, Greg Newport thinks off the rock is his best chance for an ace out here. John Ventura, highest percent chance of a hole-in-one amongst the players in today's field. He is very aggressive with this hole. And Randy Reeves loves the deflections, looking to get the bounce off the rock as well. So
just going to need 1 to cash that over 1.5 as well. We saw 1 in the earlier group. Going to need 1 out of these 3 remaining to cash plus 100 here today.
So on the front of this rock, which we do not see from this camera angle, there is a little white dot that players have their eyes on, and they're aiming for that aim point. If they do hit that line with their putt, they will get the right deflection towards the hole. But a little deviation from that, like we saw from Joey Grable, and you can just end up with this anywhere, really.
Randy off the rock, and not the exact bounce he was looking for, but
I think that putt had a little too much pace to it as well. It looked decent to me, but seemed like it might have just hit that rock a little bit too hard as he nails his deuce there. So, under bettors, live to fight another day.
Live to fight another putt.
Yes.
Greg Newport comes up. 2 more chances to cash the over here, but under bettors sitting at home biting their fingernails off right now and feel the pain. Greg Newport stepping up, will taking that approach off the rock here as well.
That looks like he might get it.
Gets it.
He did. Great speed, great putt, nailed it. Newport is thriving in the Myrtle Beach heat right now. And Joey Grable there, giving him the fist bumps. And you know what? I love to see that from other competitors as we see the WPL logo there from Greg Newport. But over bettors cash it. It was Ace Ventura who got the hole-in-one on number 8 and cashed the over, and Greg Newport does it for over bettors on number 12.
I love Greg Newport flashing the ball to the camera every time. Just to say, keep me in mind, check this out, and show that ball. We have one on display here in the studio, and it is stunning.
Ace misses that to the underside of the hole right there, and we'll tap in for 2.
Is that one down?
And we are going into a gauntlet right now. From 13 to 18, there's not a single hole here that is aced more than 9% of the time. This particular one, number 13, the hole breaks severely from right to left. The graphic shows the angle with the cup closest to us right there.
Right.
So you'll notice that the putt breaks from right to left. You can use the bank shot there as well. Or you can get a little bit of a kick off the back. There's lots of opportunities here. But essentially, what you're going to try to do is miss the hole to the right side.
Well, we did see that bank used in the first group. And taking a look at the leaderboard there, Powell -4, Newport -3, Ventura and Reeves currently both tied at 2 under right now. And you see a little bit of discrepancy there. Ventura +320, Reeves +400. Does this not feel like one of those ones where you feel you might have an opportunity to jump in on something live with Reeves, given how even it's felt here today, given the goals that we're about to see left, and you just got to get into that sudden death? +400, is that maybe worth a sprinkle live?
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I mean, he's putting really well today.
Yeah.
You can say that for all three in this group, though. Aside from Ventura with, a bogey where we'd love to have that back, a couple holes back, seeing these guys pretty consistent today. Not a lot of mistakes, really attacking the hole. I think this has been some really good putting overall from this group. We're looking at that bank shot that the other players tried to like. Newport does not like that bounce. Did not like that. Let's see where that ended up. And he did not like that original carom, and he's looking back at the rock, and that's one of the challenges you get when you're playing off of the rocks, is you don't always get the same consistent bounce.
Rob, Greg seems, I haven't had the chance to meet this guy, so I'll preface that. He seems like the kind of guy who's the nicest guy ever, but he could snap a club over his knee if it came down to it.
I think anyone can snap a club over their knee if it came down to it.
I mean in terms of the switch flips.
Yeah. You don't want to throw your putter into oncoming traffic here, or the bike riders going by. That would be a huge mistake.
Right into the spoke of this guy wheeling by.
That would be a lawsuit waiting to happen right there. Hey, get off this hole as quickly as possible, Greg.
Newport gets a bad bounce off the rock. Some biker wheeling by takes a putter head to his
break.
head.
Tough break. But yeah, that's the risk with playing that shot. We did see aces with that shot.
Yeah.
First group. But you get a bad kick, and all of a sudden you're in no man's land for your deuce putt, and that's incredibly challenging. It does look like Ventura is going to play that same line from the look of things.
Does Ventura have a goat on his shirt?
It's the Pro League Network standardized logo, the GOAT. Oh, that was
beautiful.
close. Great putt. Great effort.
A good approach there. Doesn't get it to go, but he's still remaining in the mix. Now Randy Reeves, after this, an ace here for him on a hole that it's not impossible, but difficult to get. Following up Ventura, and a tough miss for him. The door is open for Randy.
That is a big miss. That drops him below the cut line right now. And you can see the frustration. You can feel this. You could feel the frustration for the last several holes. Ever since that earlier bogey. He's talking to himself. He just needs to regroup here. He's played pretty solid today. And that's not where you want the bounce to come off of. That'll be fine for a deuce putt. But typically speaking, you want the second bounce to come from the right side of the hole, not the left.
Clears out a little pathway for himself there. The way Randy's been playing today, so calm, cool, and collected in every situation. Be able to knock that one down, walk away, even par, and that's kind of all he needed there. It would have been nice to get the ace, but with Ventura there stumbling a little bit, taking bogey on this hole, Randy's now sitting within the cut line. And taking a look at the live leaderboard, Powell plus 180, Newport plus 200, Randy Reeves moves just within one hole there, plus 400 to plus 250, and Ventura is now sitting outside that cut line at 1 under, plus 700. Hole 14 coming up here, Rob. Getting down to the nitty-gritty, the final few holes of this second group. What do you make of the movement we've seen here and Newport and Reeves' ability to kind of hold on, with Ventura only being one back, but still at plus 700?
Yeah, the challenge with being only one back right now is it's hard to make up ground on these holes without the other putters making a mistake. So Ventura is a very aggressive putter, but you look at the hole-in-one percentages for these holes coming down the stretch, 2.4%, 0%, 8.7%, 6.8%, and then number 18, 1%. So he knows he's up against it here. As an aggressive putter, it's still going to be very challenging for him to make up ground.
Ooh. Wow. Well, the approach that he took there, even we're talking about that turning the hands over.
Yep.
Felt like it was very much in play and just doesn't get it to drop there for that ace opportunity, but does walk away with the par on this hole.
Yeah.
He's standing outside the course there, as you can see. 1 foot on flat ground, 1 foot up elevated on the rocks.
This is a very, very tight line. You're hoping to get just the right kick off the back. So far in this event, we haven't seen the putters get those. Like, you're just bouncing all over the place.
Yeah.
Sometimes up in the air, sometimes left, sometimes right. Very unpredictable kick on this hole. And lots of players left with some challenging deuce putts. That's why you see the full average at 2.17 strokes here from the last two major events.
Reeves taking his time to line this one up, yet again going to the other side of the hole. As you mentioned, Rob, this is not a common practice amongst these golfers. A lot of times they've got the books, they've got their notes that they refer to, they've got things written down, charted out. But even if at that, when these guys aren't referring back to those notes, a lot of times we're seeing them look at this from even just behind the ball. So Randy here stepping up to knock this one down after taking some time. And he gets it to go. Even par for Randy on this hole. Now Greg Newport taking a similar line to what we saw out of Randy. Out over to the side. And he's taking his time to line this one up as well. Truly, this would be a disaster for me. Jacob standing on the ground like that, 1 foot, different elevation, other foot on an angle, and not quite the result that Greg wants there. But I mean, I would end up in a much worse position than him if my feet were like that. I don't know about you, Jacob.
Listen, if you're on the World Putting League circuit, you got to be able to play no matter where your feet are.
That is true. Well, Greg looking to clean this one up, and he does a bit of tidy business from himself there. Walks away with yet another par, and he didn't even look that impressed with it. He's probably happy to walk away with that, but based on the approach putt that he had taken before that shot. Take a look at that beautiful Hawaiian Village pineapple course, but hole 15 up next. As we look to close out this second group in the back nine here, these golfers still competing for their final spot in that sudden death round and an opportunity to head to the finals on April 2nd. Taking a look at the live leaderboard right now, Greg Newport jumping all the way up, plus 180, tied with John Powell there. Still 2 strokes behind, but as we've mentioned, once you get to sudden death, blank slate, you start again. You're just looking to be top 3 through the first 2 groups. Randy Reeves, plus 190 now. Rob, I mean, I may know a thing or two about the spending stuff. Plus 400, that looks like a good number compared to where we're at right now.
You're right. And 16-1, John Ventura now, I know he's one back, but you look at these remaining 4 holes, all the scoring averages on these holes are 2.13 or higher. It's not like someone else can't make a bogey here. So Ventura, unlikely to birdie. Look at Newport in the background there, really trying to get the line from behind the bushes. Looks like a stalker back there. Andy Reeves. But again, that's light. That's some work to do.
Yeah.
This is the hole where you just don't ace. 15.
That camera cut of Greg Newport is gold.
Big time. Yeah. Could turn that into a meme for sure. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, I need
World Putting League social guy.
Yes.
That's meme material right there.
Please use that. I need to save it and make it memes myself. He's evaluating this putt here. I mean, we've seen most of the golfers in the first group. We saw most of the golfers in event number 1 as well. Rob, not really have it this short. And by short, I mean we've seen the ball kind of make its way more to the back side of the hole here from the angle that we're looking at, kind of going back towards the tee. It seems to be one of the first shots we've seen with this approach.
It's just really a challenging hole because it's hard to get it close to the hole. You got to have the perfect speed to kind of ride around that sort of ring there. You're going to be left in a tough deuce putt regardless. So this is why we see the scoring average of 2.18%. This is why we see no hole-in-ones on this course in competitive tournament play.
It's not to go.
Snuck it in there, did Randy. Tractor beam. Sucked it right in.
Look at Joey. Look at that salad he's got going on.
Yep. I mean, I'm going to send Joey a text after the round today, but 0-1 with the mullet. And you got to really wonder, the diet in combination with the mullet.
I don't know. Joey might have to change some things up next one, but he is the GOAT, so who are we to tell him?
True. That is.
You think he saw my hair and said, I got to be like that?
It's very possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
Well, Greg Newport looking to close this one out and remain in that top 3 that looks to be headed to the sudden death. Gets it to go. Ace Ventura goes right socks in the sun. Right socks. Clears out the path. It's Newport and Graybill.
Man, look at these flashy socks. Really can't get over it.
I know. I'm genuinely mesmerized every time the camera cuts to it.
This is a tough hole to go last for Ventura. He's seen the other competitors card a 2. He knows he's not going to ace. So he knows he can't make up ground. It's going to feel like the walls are closing in on him at this point. Just less and less holes remaining. Let's see if he can nestle one up in there. It's a pretty decent effort.
And a different approach than we've seen from a lot of the players today.
One of the challenges with the putt that he just hit, and why I don't think it's seen all that often, is if you hit it a little too hard, you bring the out of bounds
right
over that back hill.
Right.
But if you do get the right speed, like he did right there, you end up with an easier deuce.
Now, as we wrap up that hole here, Rob, and we're going to take a look at the leaderboard yet again, see where the cut is currently sitting at. A little refresher for people on the format of today's event. We saw the winner, Tim Talley, last week. He was the outright winner of last week's event. He won the sudden death. We're going to continue to push on with these 3 golfers. The top 3 of today's event are going to end up in the sudden death. And the winner of that guarantees themselves a spot with Tim Talley in the finals. Now, how it works outside of that is this way. We saw these opening rounds, excluding the sudden death. The best 2 scores after that, the next 2 best scores out of event number 1 and event number 2 here will find themselves into those final 2 wildcard spots on April 2nd to complete that group of 4.
And it's important to note Rick Alessi and Brian Johnson both tied with a 1 under in terms of their final score last time around. They played afterwards. The score has been kept a secret, but one of those 2 did beat the other head-to-head for tie-breaking purposes, should we get there as well.
Well, look at Graybill looking on from the side there.
The meme material is coming in very hot today.
I need the WPL
to going to scare one of the putters coming around the corner?
I need images of all of that. I need it in some Rolodex for meme material. As we head to hole number 16, another look through the tunnel here, and referring back to where these guys were coming into this, Randy Reeves. These guys are all my friends, but I have experience on them. They are all young, as we mentioned here. He is one of the most experienced competitors in today's field, and he's been using that experience to his advantage.
Yeah, I honestly do think it helps a lot. Whether or not you believe in course history on the PGA Tour, I think it's definitely a factor on the World Putting League. And Randy does have the experience at this course. Look at a guy like Michael Rutledge earlier, shot one over, someone that just doesn't play this course all that often. Practiced it a lot this week, but was not able to overcome that. This hole number 16 is a challenging one. It's uphill 90% of the way. Got to get it up to that top of the hill. Green breaks from right to left, so you'll want to see this start just slightly right of the hole, come back into the left, but you got to make sure you get the putt up to the top where it's coming right back. And then you hope that it comes out of bounds so that at least you can re-tee it again and hit that same putt.
Now, Greg Newport really taking his time to set this putt up, clearing the course. And
trying to get Grable out of it.
Yeah, he's saying,
get lost.
What the hell are you doing? You think Grable's taking chips out onto the course there? He's standing off to the side in the mulch. But, Newport taking his time to get himself ready. And for those wondering, yes, some clarification on what went down. There was an OB on 13 for Greg Newport. That's why he moved from -3 to -2 there. So an OB on 13 is what led to that change in the scorecard.
And you could tell by his reaction on that hole as well. But the scorecards that are shown on screen are correct for every one of the golfers, including the cut line for live betting purposes. Big putt here for Newport. Ooh.
A lot of power behind that.
And you notice the break right to left. It's just a matter of timing that break with speed. The challenge is you just don't want to leave this putt short. So you often see putters put this past the hole because they'd rather deal with this deuce putt than have the putt roll all the way back down to him. The problem is this deuce putt goes past the hole.
Oh, yeah.
You could be in for a world of hurt.
Yeah. Wow.
And he drains it.
That was flirting with danger there. I felt like an opportunity for it to come up short, but it doesn't. And
you know what, Zach? It shows up as a 2 on the scorecard no matter what.
Yeah. They don't ask how, they ask how many.
Yeah, we don't get the Chromax ball after that the deuce putt that barely went in.
I need to see it. Someone tell him to get it up on camera. Ventura.
Well,
there might be something falling from the sky
Something is happening on this hole where I don't know if it's good luck to walk through the tunnel once and back, but
it's the opposite of the ladder.
Yes, they're walking through it and seeing what's going on the other side.
Ventura, he's going to need a little bit of a miracle here.
This is his best ace chance the rest of the way. He's going to give it a go.
And he's
got the draw. He's got the draw.
And it goes.
Ventura.
And he's right back in. 16-1, Rob. We're seeing those odds high. That ace there pushes him back to -2 and right in line with Newport.
And look at how the body language changes, right? Just really down on himself the past 3-4 holes, and then all of a sudden that ace is completely rejuvenated. This has really been some good putting today on display, especially in this back end of the ladder group today. Randy's got to get it up there.
Could it go? Well, it hangs on. It's got enough to stay. As we said when we watched event number 1, Rob, these are the ones where you see the ball get there and you start running. You go and place your chip. And
you don't get to mark the balls, unfortunately, on WPL, here. But if you could.
I would be using a putt buddy.
Yes.
For sure, to mark mine.
100%.
Randy again here. This is something we hadn't even seen out of the front 9. And then all of a sudden in the back, it comes into play where he's taking a look at these on either side. I don't know if he decided to dial in a little bit more. I don't know if he's feeling the pressure from ace, but he's really taking his time and making sure he's got these lined up properly.
And he drains it.
Grable there. I'm interested to see what position he puts himself in on the next hole and how he towers over it. But looking back at that leaderboard there yet again, Ace Ventura was sitting plus 1,600 only a few holes ago, now back to plus 300. Himself, Newport, and Reeves all tied at 2 under here through 16, 2 holes left to play. John Powell is still sitting at -4. And you know what? We thought based on the way that this round had started, you know what? Maybe this is going to be one where John Powell's score today could be in danger. It's proven to have held up as a very, very good performance.
For sure. The question is whether or not the time off the course is going to have a negative impact on John Powell. And interestingly enough, we've seen Michael Rutledge on the course. We've seen Joey Grable. Have not seen John Powell to the side there. So wonder if he's just gotten out of the sun, sitting in the shade, enjoying this in the clubhouse,
taking a nap,
doing something. Right now, as it stands, though, we'd be looking at a 4-man playoff. Ooh. Tricky kick there.
Well, it looked like Ace went for it. Kind of just looked at the cards and said, I'm going out swinging.
Yeah, this is a chat. Like, you can ace this hole. It's been done before. There's that very steep incline. We saw Michael Rutledge leave it short. It came all the way back down to him. But players are just trying to hit the back bricks here and get a deuce putt somewhere around the hole. This is more than Ventura would have wanted to leave in particular here. It's a pretty testy putt. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. What did we just witness? That thing was this close to being down.
Yeah. It was that close to missing. Gets a grip on the hole, spins all the way around, and then launches itself out. And we went through every emotion there with Ace.
I went through the emotions too. I bet on Ventura.
I forgot.
Real life money. Producer Jacob bet on Ventura as well. This is the Ventura army over here. We needed that one to go down.
Ventura Nation.
Randy, very nice. Nestles it up there.
Yep.
Well done by Randy. And I think Greg will be looking to do the same now after Ventura missed that. No need to necessarily play for an ace here. Just got to get it up top. Get the best deuce putt possible. Because as it stands right now, if things were to hold up with a Greg Newport par here, it's very likely Ventura would be rooting for someone to bogey final hole.
Yeah. An on-course mic would have been very interesting for Ventura after watching that putt, as normally Dis is saying in the chat there. That's one of those ones. It's the NFL All Access, behind the scenes mic'd up moments. That's when you'd want to watch from the WPL.
There would be a lot of bleeping. Would be my guess. If Ace was mic'd up there. I don't know that we would have got many words in.
Oh.
That's pretty well done too there by Newport.
Narrowly misses the ace opportunity by Newport, but looks pretty happy with himself in that approach and what he's left to walk away with a par. 17 gets it down. Well, Jacob, I don't know if you noticed what Rob did, but talked all day about no commentator mush. Right before Ventura steps up, says if things stay the same, 4-man playoff.
We can't put that one on the commentator. We can't put that. There's a loaded bridge back there. Grable, I think I saw Gary Hester out on the course as well, who played last week, coming to see the competitors in event number 2 as we head to hole number 18. As mentioned, John Ventura, likelihood of an ace here, just 1%. So he's going to be hoping for Greg Newport or Randy Reeves to make a mistake. And it's very possible on this hole. Out of bounds comes into play on the right-hand side. This green breaks severely from left to right. It's really hard to see the difficulty of this tee shot until you watch it multiple times. But this is a hole with a scoring average of 2.28 across the Masters and U.S. Open. So certainly a bogey is possible for one of Newport or Reeves on hole number 18.
And Rob, this is one that we've seen basically through event number 1, round 1, round 2, through event number 2 here, round 1. All of these guys, the way that it seems like they've kind of tried to play it is just get up there, knock it in for par, and get out. Like this has been a no risk type of hole. Just get it as close as you can and see you later. Obviously for Ace, he's going to have to take a little bit of a different approach, but that's where we've been at so far with how they've played this one in the past. Whoa.
That was...
Reeves.
And you see the margins. That was about as dicey as it could get. Dare I say, the horseshoes came into play again for Randy Reeves there. But he's going to step up here, and he is going to secure a spot in the playoff that will be coming up following this round. Greg Newport up here. And again, Greg's going to be playing, in all likelihood, for a 2 here. And that's a great putt by Newport. Stepping up quickly. Newport rocking the darker shirt today.
Yeah.
In the sun. Don't know about that.
You know what? You got to get hot when you're in an event like this. It's a short spurt. Maybe he's using that black to attract the sun, attract the heat.
Yep.
And
could be looking
use
for a
that
base
fuel.
tan as well at this point of the year as well.
Awesome.
Summer's coming around the corner.
That's what I'm looking for. Look in the mirror and realize I'm ghastly, and it's quite concerning.
Do or die from Ace here. He's got to ace this in order to force his way into the playoff. He might take a different line here. Out of bounds doesn't matter anymore.
Shaking his head looking at this approach.
He knows. He knows what he's up against right now. It's a 1 in 100 shot. And he's thinking about potentially an alternative way that he could play this hole that will result in a hole in 1.
Just one time, gentlemen.
I mean, there's no sense in playing the routine shot at this point.
No.
I will just leave him eliminated. So here we go.
His chance at a Survivor Series sudden death match on the line. Needs it to go.
All right.
It's not going to do it.
And you know what? I don't blame him at all. That's going to be an out of bounds. Ultimately, it's going to hurt his final score. But he had to try to take a line that was unconventional where he could try to secure an ace. And he'll be disappointed. He was off to a very strong start today, but ultimately just couldn't keep it together as the round went on.
No, that's the risk that he had to take. He was on the outside looking in and knocks that putt in. It's going to be an unfortunate day for him as he's not going to make it to the sudden death, the final round to determine today's outright winner, who goes on for that second spot of the 2 event winners to compete on April 2nd in the final round. But he had to do it. He had to kind of leave it on the line there and give himself any type of opportunity to jump back into that final group.
Powell, Newport, and Reeves will be our final 3. Sounds like a law firm right there. A great putting from all 3 of them today, especially Powell in that first round was unconscious today with the 4 under. Newport and Reeves did what they had to do, secured their spot. And as we saw first time around, this is anyone's game at this point. Tim Talley went in as the underdog with Rick Alessi and Brian Johnson. He came out on top in that second hole. We'll see what this brings today, Zach.
Well, and the theme of it has been a sprint, right? You come out, you're ready to go, and you've got to just go low for a round. Joey Grable is able to take advantage of the fact that he's been in some of the tournament play. Get a couple of rounds, you play well through those, and then when it comes to the moment, you're able to attack and close things out. But in this one round event, it's not going to be the case for him. That will be from Putt Buddies. We're going to check out a short video from the sponsor of today's event, Putt Buddies, which are these really cool divot tools and ball markers. So thank you to Putt Buddies.
Putt Buddies bring high-quality craftsmanship, artistic expression, humor, and personality to your next round. They not only feature some of your favorite characters from movies and TV, they also rethink the way you express yourself on the course. Now, go to your happy place. That's puttbuddies.golf.
Rob, I need one of those.
That Chubb's pivot repair tool with the hand is amazing. Truly amazing. Rest in peace to Carl Weathers, but iconic character. I mean, I'm going to go pick up one of those immediately after the show.
Yeah, I'm going to need that, and there's many more options that they have available as well. I think the one for me is going to be Dr. Evil. He's got Mini-Me there, as well as the little thing on the front that he puts down as the ball marker. Those are pretty incredible. So shout out to Putt Buddies. But as we head to the sudden death, our final three golfers, if you're not familiar, here's our sudden death rules. We're going to start at hole number 1. Participants will see who will be the last one standing. You win or tie the hole, you survive and advance. If you have the worst score on that hole, you are eliminated. Your day is over.
We're going to go to number 1 here. And honestly, look at the odds. They're so close, it's anyone's game at this point.
Well, we did see it play a factor for Alessi in last week's event, where he did take time off there between his round and sudden death, and he was the only one who wasn't able to ace. But things will change here for Powell, and we can turn that narrative around as he leads off the sudden death, and he gets it to drop. So you have to think that's going to be good enough to get him onto this next one here with an ace. It's now going to put some pressure on the next 2 putters, though, because you don't knock in an ace and the next guy does. That could be the end of your day.
Greg Newport over here. He did ace this first time around, just snuck in the side door. I don't know that he loves it, but he got it. 2 for 2. Pressure is on Randy Reeves now. If he does not say this, he is officially eliminated from competition today.
But we will see him at the finals on April 2nd there, based on the wild card, for those wondering, watching live right now. Clearing a little pathway out for himself. Stepping up on the side. Got a couple inch elevation above the ball there. Splits the rocks and not
missed it to
go.
the right. And Randy did face that the first time around as well, where both competitors before him went ace. That time he did ace, but this time around he does not. He shakes hands with Powell and Newport. We're down to 2 men here for our winner of event number 2, WPL Survivor Series.
That'll be it for Randy's day, but continuing on. I mean, the 2 competitors still wearing black here, Rob. They're the ones remaining. We talked about how strange it was to see he was the only one. Greg was there. Powell keeping the jacket on, himself warm, comfortable, and maybe noticing a trend with the black top.
We're on to number 2 here, which was previously an unaceable hole until we saw Randy Reeves ace it about an hour ago. Takes something special to put another ace in here, but that would almost certainly win it for either of these competitors. Most of the time, they will be aiming for a 2. This hole takes a huge 180-degree turn to the right, and if you don't hit it hard enough, it's going to come back to you. So the goal is to just nestle it up as close to the hole as possible for Greg Newport right here.
Well, that's going to be a bit of a difficult putt for him as he ends up past the rock, long and further away, not at quite the angle that he would want to take back at this hole. And this is kind of playing out as a similar situation to what we did see last week. But
he seems very familiar with this putt. It didn't take a lot of time here.
Quick look,
and
it's good enough.
Smooth stroke.
Well, it's going to take a bit of a miracle here for Powell to walk away with a victory after hole number 2, but let's see one ace here earlier today. Could we see another?
Ooh, got a little kick there. That could have been a very decent putt.
Powell to send this to 3. Gets it to go. No doubt. With confidence standing over that putt, and it pays off.
And this is a nice 3-hole stretch we got coming up here to try to crown a champion of event number 2. Because 3, 4, and 5 are all aceable holes. And if we look at the live betting odds, very close to a pick 'em right now.
Yeah.
Greg Newport, a small favorite. But hole 3, players are going to be looking to play that bank shot off the yellow brick. Ace percentage about 18.8% of the time. All it takes is one good shot now from either of these two competitors. And it's all she wrote.
And, we're looking at this odds board, and as much as we might look at over time, one of these putters, you might think Newport may be the better putter all around. Overall, this is a hole-by-hole competition now. This is who can score, whoever is going to score the worst at any given moment is going to be out, and it's just about trying to maintain some level of consistency from one to the next. Powell playing off the back.
Ooh,
just misses ace opportunity.
And Newport's playing with house money now.
Yeah.
It's got to feel great to be second on these putts and know that your competitor is in for it too.
Well, Newport with a chance to win it with an ace here. Wrap up event number 2. Heading off the bank. On a line.
Oh, and he just
No
didn't
good.
catch it. That was about as close as you could come as well. It's a couple times, I think, with Newport on this hole where he's just marginally missed his hole.
Well,
But-
we talked about how he had kind of a similar round to start, at least to Grable, where it was like close but can't capitalize. He's been able to stick around. He's been able to get it done. I mean, now where you're at with this, you had a great round here today. You did have that 1 OB that kind of sets you from -3 back to the -2 range. Powell had an incredible day. This has been just a great day of putting here, Rob.
It sure has been. It's been pretty solid all around. We got a couple more holes here in 4 and 5, which are aceable holes. 4 is that front door putt. You really got to get the speed perfect. You tee it up to the right. You challenge the hill on the left here a little bit with a very slow pace and just hope you nail it. We saw both Newport and the rest of his group actually miss this one out to the right. And it happens again. Just catches a little bit of the hole, but with too much pace.
He's going to get some relief off the wall. See Reeves and Grable. Rutledge there standing in the background, watching on eagerly. And as you said, a very aceable hole. So at going second, it's got to be a good feeling. You know the guy's in for 2 ahead of you here. 2 for Newport's sake, but gets it to go. Now Powell stepping up.
This could do it.
An ace here. Give him the outright victory.
Kind of feels a little bit, has the feel of penalty kicks in soccer.
Yeah.
Or hockey shootout, where it's just back and forth and each person with a chance to win it. And Powell's left it out to the right. So this will likely extend to another hole, as Powell's going to have to put this in here. And we move on to hole number 5.
At this point, it's a matter of who wants it more. Who is hungrier for the outright victory at event number 2, World Putt League Survivor Series?
Do you actually believe it is who is hungrier? Neither do I. It's about
maybe
technical prowess at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Hole number 5, breaking from right to left, uphill the entire way. Different ways to play this shot. Who's going to play it better? No adjustments in the live odds. Greg Newport still a very slight favorite at minus 115 over John Powell.
I want some theatrics here, Rob. Give us all the way around, touch the whole hole, and then drop in for an ace from Powell. That's what I want to see.
I'd love to see something like that.
I'm one for the theater.
Oh,
man.
Get
there.
The amount of lip outs we've seen so far in this playoff, through the roof. You really got to wonder if the brimmed hat is still needed with the amount of shade on the course. I mean, at this point, it's been on all day. You don't mess around with it. Drains us too. So
Nice
consistent
touch there.
here. Been consistent so far. Greg Newport looking for the walk-off.
Walk-off ace, throws his putter into the street,
We get it. We definitely get a view of the ball on camera.
picks up the ball. Yeah, that's guaranteed. This is like betting color of the Gatorade at Super Bowl. But this, he wins here. We see that ball on camera. For a chance of victory, chance of glory,
Turned it over. Got it.
and he's got it.
Greg Newport, the king of consistency, is elated with his victory. Cash it plus 225. Greg Newport bettors prior to the tournament. Can't take away anything there from John Powell. Very impressive performance today. Shot the best round of all 12 of our competitors across 2 rounds. As you see Joey Grable there congratulating Mr. Greg Newport, Andy Reeves, Michael Rutledge. The crew is there. And you see these guys support one another on the World Putting League. But ultimately, Newport gets it done. He will be taking on Randy Reeves on April 2nd in our finals. John Powell moves on to take on our previous winner from last week, Tim Talley. One of these 4 will be our World Putting League Survivor Series winner.
And Rob, this was incredible putting here today. And you know what? I think that we did a pretty good job on commentating. I wanted to dunk on you a little bit with the mush that I said that you gave Ace Ventura, but I'll give you the credit on this. If you watched the preview that we did, you had Newport as a value pick and the guy you thought was going to have a good opportunity at winning this event here today over Joey Grable.
If we go back and watch the preview shows
Yes.
prior to the live broadcast,
Which you should be doing.
which you should do. I did like Tim Talley in event number 1. I did love Greg Newport in this event. We came to the preview show, live broadcast. I might have changed a little bit
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Unfortunately for the worse, but ultimately it was a great event, pretty wide open. And Newport is he's a great putter. I'm glad to see him finally perform at this level because you consistently see him high on the odds board.
Yeah.
You see him in events like the U.S. Open, the Masters, doing really well, and then kind of falls off after that whenever the cameras are on. But finally today, put it all together. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. Greg Newport, really well-liked putter on tour.
And there you go, the outright winner of event number 2, Greg Newport, plus 225 coming into this one. I mean, we had an opportunity to sit here and watch the entire thing from the studio, but we will go down now horse side to hear about what went on and the emotions of today's event from our correspondent guy.
I'm here with Greg Newport, the winner of the Survivor Series Episode 2. Greg, you're going to Disney World. On the 2nd of April, Greg's going to be facing off in the final. Greg, tell me, how do you feel?
I feel great right now. This course can eat you alive, and basically it matches Survivor Series perfectly. You just got to be patient. Deuces are a good score on this course. try to get your aces when you can. I was fortunate enough to get one there at the end.
I saw that. Greg, what was the easiest hole to get into today?
Well, I've always felt hole 8 was a good hole for me. 1 is a good hole. Unfortunately, with 1, it's hard to get. It's good ace hole, but to start matching your speed in line immediately is kind of hard to do. But I really like hole 8. Hole 8 kind of matches my game, and I did make it in the show, so that was good. But wow, I mean, when I walked up to hole 5, I said, okay, well, if you got one good putt to hit, this will be the time to hit it, and I perfectly hit it right in the hole. It was a good feeling.
Tell me, did any of the competitors give you a run for your money? Who do you think played well? Who were you more scared of that could have pulled out a better performance?
Being really scared, it's not about the others to me. It's about myself. As long as I play my game, I feel good. I feel like I'm good enough to compete with anybody. So basically, I'm playing the course, and down at the end, it was good to know the scores I needed to shoot, and just to be able to finish up. I mean, after my mistake, I didn't really feel like I made a mistake on 13. I just got a bad kick off the brick, and made the 3 putt from going out of bounds, and then just hold on to dear life. Coming in, I knew 2 under was going to be good enough to make it to April, and also to make the playoffs, so that was good. It was unfortunate for John to have a couple of mistakes there at the end, but that's the way this course is. I mean, it will penalize you in a hurry if you're not on your game.
Awesome. Well done, Greg, and I'll see you April 2nd. Once again, thank you to Putt Buddies for sponsoring the event, and we'll see you April 2nd. Stay tuned.
Thanks to Guy and Greg out there on the course, and congratulations to Greg on the outright victory at event number 2 here of the World Putt League Survivor Series. Rob, this was an incredible event. The entire Pro League Network and World Putt League team has put on an incredible show. We're happy to be a part of it. So thank you to everyone who tuned in, whether that was on the worldputtingleague.com or if it was over on the HQ YouTube channel. Regardless of how you followed along, we're glad that you did. So thank you to everyone who tuned in here today. We greatly appreciated it. We will be back April 2nd for the finals with the final 4 golfers, Tim Talley, Randy Reeves, Greg Newport, as well as John Powell to close up this Survivor Series. Thanks to everyone who tuned in here today. For all things World Putt League, you can head over to worldputtingleague.com. For myself, Zach Phillips, for my co-host today, Rob Pizzola, our on-course correspondent Guy, our in-studio producer, Jacob Grimenia, and all the amazing people running the show over at the Pro League Network and the World Putting League. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you all on April 2nd.